This is my 1927 Western Electric SC550 PBX. It is an absolutely fantastic piece of equipment. This was installed in 1927 in the office of Paint Point Products, Williamsburg, Brooklyn, 11211. And it was there from 1927 until 1984 when my father and I removed it. And since then it's been here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, the neighboring neighborhood. Paint Point Products had many factory buildings and they were all hooked up to here. The owner of Paint Point Products, which began in 1910, his name was William J. Rice. Among other things, he's a noted American poet. You can find his name, William J. Rice. Served in World War I. Became very wealthy through the paint factory. He was the first graduate of Columbia School of Journalism to receive a 100 grade for translating one of the works of Virgil, Cicero, and Caesar from the Latin to the English. Very well-educated man. His first job, he was hired personally by William Randolph Hearst and went to work for Mr. Hearst. He also worked for and became friends with Joseph Pulitzer. Before he died, William J. Rice, I took him to be honored in Columbia in front of the famous Pulitzer window. He was 95 at the time and a very distinguished graduate from Columbia. Why did I bring all that up is because many important phone calls came through this PBX. It's not just some place, number please, you know, ringy-dingy, stuff like that. Paint Point Products supplied all of the special coatings for use in theaters and other important places like the Roxy Theater. All of the pre-war German bronze powders were purchased from Paint Point Products to paint the Roxy Theater and other theaters. Maybe the most important sets of phone calls that came through this were in 1945. He got a call from the vice president of National Lead, and I have him on video. I interviewed him before he passed away. The vice president of National Lead in 1945 said to him, he said, "Willie, in 37 we sold you 3 kegs of a lead titanate. It's a filler." And he said, "Oh yes, I remember that." And he said, "Did you use it up?" And he said, "No, because it was pitch black and we couldn't mix it with other things to make a paint. Everything came out black and only black. So I put it away." He said, "Willie, I want you to go and find it. I'll hold the line. I want you to place your hand on all 3 kegs. I want you to verify what they are and come back to me." So he did that. He said, "All right, we need that right away. Name your price. It's wartime. It's 1945. Name your price." He says, "Is it for the war effort?" And he said, "Yes." He says, "All right, give me what I paid for it, a couple of $100. He says, "Willie, we're sending armed soldiers immediately to pick it up." They came immediately, and they took this 3 kegs away. After the war, it was finally able to, Mr. Rice was finally able to find out what happened and why those were so important. It seems that the process to make them took too long. And this is what he was told. They were used to coat the insides of the atomic bombs that were dropped. Those phone calls came through here. Well, let me show you a few features of this wonderful PBX here. The first feature is my own. As you can see, I mounted it on double piano wheels. Why would I want to have trouble moving this thing? I've moved it 100 times since I acquired it. There are people who constantly complain, oh, they're so heavy, I can't move it. You're right, it's heavy with the wheels. Okay? But the piano wheels are fantastic. This over here on the side is something you don't see all the time. Very scarce. It's the battery compartment. Western Electric. Here you have 4 drained cells in their original Philco hard rubber cradles. Let's turn it around. This is the charge and discharge circuit diagram. And it also has the service record of this PBX from the time it was installed. Very hard to find. Most of them don't exist anymore, and it's almost impossible to find them still attached to the PBX. Solid oak throughout, unlike later models which are veneer and have mixed woods. Another unique thing about this particular PBX, because it's all still here, it's a numbers matching panel. 820 here in red, 820 here in red, and the kick panel is also 820. Extremely hard to find. For some reason, these back panels get lost, and they're never to be seen again. This particular one has the bonus of having these two, which is the method of operation of this PBX. Complete explanation. And on the bottom has the date 4/25/27. On this side, it's the wiring circuits diagram, the complete diagram of this. They don't exist. They really don't. You're lucky you even get the back panel. The serial number is stamped back here. I don't know why some PBXs don't even have that anymore. It's peculiar, but there it is. When we took it out and brought it up here to the 3rd floor, cleaned it thoroughly, and made sure that everything was correct and in place. There was no damage. There was no mold, no mildew, no water damage. It's a miracle this thing survived intact the way it did. On the bottom here, there's a cutout in the oak cabinet, and that's for the lead cable that has all the pairs in it. I'll show you from underneath. It's curled up underneath there. I cut it from the service entrance. And that's where it came out. I don't know if I mentioned it, this oak chair that came with it, it's in pretty good condition considering it was piled on with all kinds of stuff for many years. But this was the original chair that was delivered with it, and it's stamped WECO inspected. This is the cover of the telephone service entrance, and it's stamped WECO. Couldn't get the rest of the box. It was part of the wall. Now here, sometime in 1947, this was upgraded by the phone company. This is an F2 handset. It's in absolutely pristine condition, just like the day it came out of the factory. These trunks are in absolutely perfect condition. The switches are in perfect condition. This is a 5F asterisk dial, 20 pulses per second. It's in perfect condition. Just like the day it came out of the factory. Absolutely amazing stuff they made years ago. You have to marvel at the ingenuity and the ability to say, we're going to make this the best you could possibly make this. Here's the magneto. It's a 3-bar magneto. Still works. Under the switches. Again, spotlessly clean. This is the shipping tag. And it has the date and the serial number, which matches in the back there. Again, this is the matching numbers panel. This is a power unit, Western Electric. 67C1 power unit with all the fuses intact. In here is the lead cable. In here there are all the pairs that came out through the side. Again, inside, absolutely spotless. So after all these years, it's December 2020. I found a buyer for this. Got a very good price for it. And he's a serious collector. So I'm happy to pass this on to a serious collector upstate New York, where this will live on for decades. I have to be honest with you, I've babied this thing since I've got it. It's such a fantastic piece of equipment. And I'm glad to be passing it on. I just wanted to share this wonderful unit with you.